Hypotheticals. Here's an oldie but a goodie. If you could have 3 wishes, what would they be? Cake! No, I don't mean that my first wish would be for cake. I mean that the question itself is easy as cake. Or is it easy as pie? Easy as pie? Easy as cake? It's cake. It's easy as pie. Easy as some delicious baked pastry. First wish would be for the power to know any quantifiable fact about reality if I wanted to know that fact. Like, I wish I had the ability to ask myself any question about anything, and as long as there is a coherent, succinct answer to that question, I'd instantly know what the answer is. Second, I would wish for perfect health all the time. A perfectly running cardiovascular system, respiratory system, digestive system, immune system, metabolism, and so on. And of course, a side effect of that would be never having to work out or watch what I eat. So, bonus. Third wish. I'm kind of copping out on this one. It would probably be something more global, like world peace or the eradication of disease, something like that. I don't know. Probably have to narrow that one down, but it would be in that vein. Let's go with world peace. That sounds great. World peace. If you could only eat one dessert for the rest of your life, what would it be? Pinkberry. Oh, hello. I would eat cat. I'd eat lots of cat. Oh. That was gross. I feel like I got a little like, I don't know, man. This is not going well. I'm trying to have very serious discussion here, and sir, you are not helping. Can you not move my my camera? Take 2. If I could only eat one dessert for the rest of my life, what would it be? Pinkberry. I love pinkberry. I can't help it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like fucking addicted to this stuff. Oh, it's so good though. It's so good. It's so like tangy and kind of like citrusy, but not. And it's like creamy and it's good. And then you put the strawberries and chocolate chips and granola. And it's like, oh, I love it. I think I just outed myself as a very, very flamboyant homosexual. Dude, cat. What's the fucking deal? He likes it too. If God existed and he were an ice cream flavor, what flavor would that be? Rocky Road. If you could teach the human race one thing, what would it be? I think this is a really great question, and my answer may surprise you. Without question, parenting. Parenting. I would teach the world good parenting. I think almost all of the human-centric problems in the world are reducible to and ultimately attributable to shitty parenting. I'm not fucking kidding. And I know what you're thinking. What the hell do I know about parenting? Well, I know more than you think. I know more than most parents, but I will elaborate on this in the next question. If you could force everyone in the world to read 3 books, what would they be? The God Delusion. No, I'm kidding. No, could you imagine? No. Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson totally changed the way that I think about everything. The End of Faith by Sam Harris, because I think the message is so valuable, and if it were one that human beings across the planet embraced, I really think the world would be a better place. In fact, I would bet money on it. I would bet my life on it. And the third book is a book that you will not have heard of. It's not published yet, but I've read it because my mom is the author. She's a doctor of clinical psychology, but her life's work has been the subject of parenting, and that's what this book is about. She founded an entire nonprofit organization called TIP, T-I-P-P, which stands for the Institute for Professional Parenting, which offers everything from relationship skills workshops to private therapy to rage work, something else they call couch work. But the star of this show is her 8-week parenting class, parts of which I sometimes teach. And there's nothing else like it in the world. People who meet the children parented according to this philosophy, and there are a lot, are constantly awestruck by how thoughtful and ethical and independent, intelligent, empathetic, charismatic, and loving these children are. It is simply false to say that our kids are going to turn out however they turn out as if it's some kind of genetic crapshoot. That's wrong. That's not true. You create the kind of person your child grows up to be by the way that you parent them. So that's the third and arguably most pressing book that I would force everyone in the world to read if I could. Before I move on to the next question, I just want to pause for a second and say something. I know this is an important subject to me, and I know that a lot of you out there are going to give me a lot of heat for the whole parenting thing, for what I said about that. Specifically that parenting has more of an effect on our personalities and our temperaments than genetics. I know a lot of you out there buy into the idea that our personalities are predetermined by our genes, or at least they are predetermined by our genes in part. And you're going to cite twin studies for me. You're going to cite gene isolation studies. I know about all that. I've read all the studies. This is a really, really good example of science done poorly in the name of an ideology. And I'm going to prove it to you. There's a book that I want you to go out and buy. You can buy it on Amazon. It's called The Gene Illusion by J. Joseph. It's really dry. It's really long. It's not interesting. It's not flavorful. It is a work of scholarship. But it fucking destroys, it obliterates the idea that genetics predetermine our personality. Or at the very least, it destroys the notion that we have sufficient evidence for thinking that genetics predetermine our personality. So before you write me a bunch of nasty, snarky comments, which I've gotten before for mentioning this, please check that out and hear my side of this. This is a good one. If you had to choose, would you rather A, always be able to tell when someone was being knowingly deceitful, or B, have it so that no one could ever tell if you were being knowingly deceitful? Isn't that such an awesome question? I would go with knowing whenever someone was being knowingly deceitful, but I would only pick that as long as I have a choice when to know and when not to. Otherwise, my life would be miserable. You don't want that. Otherwise, I'd go with the second one. But here's the cool thing. With the second one, if I chose that, I could convince anyone that they could tell me the truth without experiencing any undesirable consequences, and they would believe me. Right? So it's kind of a win-win there. If you could be a professional athlete in any sport, which would it be? Does martial arts count? Because I would love to be a professional martial artist. If you could time travel forwards and backwards, when would be your first choice for traveling backwards in time? And how far would you travel into the future? I don't know. I mean, if my safety were guaranteed, I would like to see what the dinosaurs look like. I think that would be cool. I guess I could have gone for the whole Jesus thing, but that's so 2009. As for the future, I would go 300 years. I think that's good. I think that would be a good barometer of how we're doing as a species, because I figure that by that point we will have either destroyed ourselves or we will have gotten our shit together.